How old were you when you came to LA?
24.
Where did you come from?
Miami.
At what age did you get your first job in the entertainment industry?
26.
How much money did you have when you came?
About 10,000.
What's a movie you find totally inspiring?
Primal Fear.
Horror movies? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Horror movies. Reality TV? Yes or no?
In the middle.
Okay. Social media? Opportunity or worst curse ever on humankind?
Opportunity.
Opportunity. I like it. Who's an actor who influenced you to do what you do today?
Edward Norton.
Oh, I love him.
And if you had to sum up LA in one word, what would that word be?
20 minutes away.
Oh, I know why you're saying that. We're going to get into that. I love that. 20 minutes away.
20 minutes away.
Yeah.
So we like to welcome our guest,
Yeah,
DaJuan Johnson.
DaJuan, we're
Thank
so
you
happy.
so much.
Thank you so much
Thank you for having
being
me.
here.
Thank you.
Are you kidding?
Thank you.
Let's start though. You need to tell us why you said 20 minutes away. I mean, I think I know why you said it. But
Because,
Yeah.
everybody that tells you some directions are like, everything's 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
It'll just take you 20 minutes to get there.
Right.
And so I think that's really funny for me.
Yeah.
20 minutes away.
it sums up LA.
It really
It
does
sums up
say
LA.
that.
Yeah.
It says it in your GPS
Yes.
too.
Yeah.
Not
You're
true.
like, that is not true.
Not true.
Right. Exactly.
Well, I'd love to know about what got you interested in acting in the first place. Where did you start with that?
I started when I was in 7th grade doing The Wizard of Oz. I was a scarecrow, and I kind of it goes further back where my mom would say I always loved causing scenes. You know what I mean? And so I just really enjoyed it. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you know you always wanted to be an actor, or was that something that kind of progressed for you as you went along?
Well, I mean, who knew that you could get paid to do what we do, right? And so I think I grew up thinking that I was going to be a lawyer. For like my mom, you want to be a lawyer? I was like, I want to perform. You want to be a lawyer, and it kind of came together in undergrad. Undergrad, it all started to gel together, and I finished undergrad, went to grad school, and then it came.
Studied acting in grad
I
school.
did not study acting in
No.
grad school. Oh, shame.
What'd you do?
I did Colorado State University.
Okay.
And I went there because got a master's in higher education and student affairs, working with students on a collegiate level, right?
Okay.
And it was because my mom told me, she's like, you need just in case job. You know what I mean? What if acting doesn't work out? So go get, 2 years for that. And I went and did it. And then I just realized that while I was there, that I wasn't living my best life because I was telling students to go out and live their best life, but I wasn't doing it. And so I was like, I'm gonna go now. And so I left.
Wow.
Wow. Oh, okay. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to get off topic, but there's a lot of things in my head
There's a
right
lot
now.
going on.
Me
There's
too.
a lot going on.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you're so motivational. So I want to talk about that. But
Thank you.
But even before we get there, when
Yeah.
you first arrived in Los Angeles as an actor, did you find it challenging?
No, it was super easy for me. I mean, it was like the easiest thing. I'm joking.
I was like, is he for real? Yeah.
No, it was
Yeah.
so incredibly challenging. The roads were weird. I couldn't figure
was
out.
super easy.
It was like magical, and here I am. I'm just no. It was. I mean, it took me about a year and a half before I didn't want to go home anymore. Right
yeah.
before I didn't want to move. The job I couldn't. I had to get a survival day job, which I wasn't expecting because I thought my $10,000 was going to be that was what I needed before I hit it big.
Right.
It was a lot. I was away from, and I think many people are thousands of miles away from home.
Yeah.
I was missing birthdays. I was missing holidays I don't think I've been in the place with my brother and sister for their birthdays. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so a lot of that weighs on you. So no, it's not easy, how do you find a manager and an agent? And all that stuff was really, really rough when I first got out here. And I would just say that I don't like to I'll put numbers on it if you ask me, but I don't like to put numbers on things because I think people then use that as barometers. And we're all so different. And you can't use my barometer as your barometer because then it's not fair to you. and your journey and what's going to happen. So I try not to put numbers on it, if that makes sense. But it was a bit before I got my first, something out here. You don't know where to go. You're like, where do I go with all that?
No, I have so many places to go. I have so many places. I want to go back to what you said about that your mother told you to get what did you call it? A just in case job?
Oh,
is that what you called it?
Yes, just in case.
Or a lot of people I think call it like a fallback, right? Yeah. Like a fallback plan or a fallback job. And
Plan B.
Plan B. And I think a lot of actors are encouraged to do that, especially by their parents.
Yeah.
I think that's a very common thing. And I'm just curious, I know you have kids.
Yeah.
This is a super loaded question I'm about to ask you. So
how do I feel about this?
If they wanted to do what you want to do, or, if you were talking to a young person, what do you think about the Plan B? Would you encourage, what do you think?
Ladies, I think Plan B, what I understand right now is just love. It's just your parents,
of course,
trying to just shield you from anything. Sure. And so they're trying to arm you for the future. That's all it is now. I get it. We take it as all this other stuff and it's heavier, but it is just love. Now being a dad, I would, it's a hard one.
Yeah. I
always want my kids to soar, but in the back of my head, I'm thinking like, gosh, there's so many things out there, so I don't know. Can I plead the fifth?
You can.
That's a hard one.
What do you say to your students when you're coaching them? Like, if they asked you about a Plan B, would you?
Wow.
Yeah.
Way to put me on
I
the
know. I'm not
spot.
going to let this one go, it seems.
What I was going to say about I would do everything in my power to try. What I wouldn't do is try to get a Plan B for just in case. I would try to promote, encourage, and help them map out a plan to go full throttle with it.
That. Sure.
That's what I would do. And if we kept hitting, maybe even like yearly check-ins, you know what I mean? I don't think what we don't do with ourselves is check in to say, am I still enjoying this? Am I still loving this? You know what I mean? Because we're so in the grind and so in the hustle. And we're like, we got to keep going. So I would probably have something like that. I would do it a little bit smarter with them, with my kids, because I don't want to stomp out their fire or their zest for life. Yeah. But I also want to raise independent, awesome kids too. Sure.
That's a great answer.
I found that when I first moved here, there was two parts of me. It took me a while to embrace the day job.
Yeah.
And then it took me a while to know that the day job was going to be a part of my experience here. Because I also came with that expectation. I think a lot of people come with that expectation of what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
And that it's going to be an A, B, C, and it literally does not work like that at all here.
I'm on Z.
Yeah, right. And the first part of it was sort of almost giving in to the ideas that I had, because like you said, it is different when you're choosing this career. You aren't on a path that is going to look probably like a lot of your friends or family.
And unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at this, what we look at is the Meryl Streeps or the, which have amazing careers and we love them. But there are still 100,000 other actors that are, that are in that climb, that hustle,
for sure,
that we can look at as well, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if that made sense, but in my head, it made
totally
great
made sense. No, we have to pay attention to everything, not just be like, that's where if I'm not there, I'm a failure.
Exactly.
If I'm not Meryl, I'm a failure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we asked you the questions at the top, you said social media opportunity. Yeah. I think so many actors struggle with social media. I know I do.
Yeah.
Why do you see it as an opportunity?
I think I get it, right? I was teaching a class, I was speaking, I shouldn't say teaching class, I was speaking at this workshop thing, and one of the girls came up to me afterwards because I told her, I was like, guys, get used to it. 75% of our career is marketing. Whether you believe it or not, 75% is marketing. So become great with the idea of it's not selling yourself, but it's an opportunity for people to get to know you that might not have gotten to know you. It's an opportunity to put yourself out there the way you want people to see you, right? And it's an opportunity just to it's for me, it's so exciting because we actually get to curate how we want people to see us, right? And so, people will look at it, they're like, DaJuan, you are working all the time. And I'm like, I know, right? But I at home, I'm like, when is my next job gonna happen? Right? When is gonna, what's gonna happen? That's the way it's looking, but we're putting it out there. It's an opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think I get it. This young lady, I was talking about this workshop, this young lady came up to me afterwards and she said, DaJuan, I just wanna act. And I said, I know. I just want to act too. And that's what we are told. We can, when we go to, drama school, I went to drama school, that it's just about the craft. And it is, but what they don't tell us is it's also about marketing. Everybody on every level, Brad's doing it. They're doing, a PR and, those press junkets and all that. That is PR. That is marketing. That is social media, and so I just think it's a big opportunity to stay connected with those people. I have so many people that connect with me on social media, and I write back to every one of my fans, every one of them. You know why? Because I'm this guy who from Kendall, Florida, which is Miami, Florida, right? This little town in Miami, it's not little anymore, who just wanted to play dress up for the rest of his life, wanted to play pretend. And I have people that are connecting with me. So guess what? Until I can't, because there will come a time when we can't answer every, whatever, I'm going to do it. I love this. I love it. There's some bad ones that I don't want to talk to. I just block them. But I mean, if we can shift our thinking on social media and shift our thinking on what we think our craft meant 20, 30, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, what this industry meant, and really step into, it's almost like we're holding on to black and white headshots.
Yeah.
That's what it's like.
Yeah.
When people come up, I don't want to, I'm like, throw the black and white headshot away.
Yeah.
Step into this. And then we get upset when there are all these YouTubers or anybody else or reality stars that are bringing it and they're so famous. It's because they've decided they don't have any, nothing holding them back.
Or judgment.
No judgment.
Or hang up.
Like we do. You know what I mean? It's such a craft. And I'm a theater snob. I spell theater R-E. I mean, I still get I get it, but I also get that we have to shift and we have to get into that piece. And so I think it's a big opportunity when used correctly. That's my caveat.
Can I ask a follow-up question on that? Yeah. In terms of, I love the idea of shifting it. Because I too, when I came here, I felt like it was harsh. It hurt my soul.
Right.
I think a lot of actors feel that way. So what would be some of your advice for that? How to think about social media? You talked about earlier sharing yourself, sharing stories.
Yes.
What is the way that you can connect to that creative actor who is about the craft, who does have to do this marketing and all of that kind of stuff in a way that's not gonna feel like nails on a chalkboard, basically.
Do you? Do you? And I
Okay.
told this young lady, she was like, I just want to tell stories. And I said, what if you can start to look at your marketing or your posting, if you will, what you post as telling a story every single time. So when you're up there and you're posting about, here we are, here's my life on this. It's not about, hey, look at me, I'm on a podcast. It's like, look at me, I get to sit with these two wonderful women, and tell this story about X, Y, and Z. Here's why I love doing this. And it becomes a story. And what I think we forget as actors, that is our main job, to tell a story, to make the words on the page come off the page, and we get to tell this story, the vessel through that. So if we can start to shift our thinking about, marketing or about social media as tell a story, do you, then fantastic. That is fantastic. Ask yourself, how can I see this differently? I also think it's a lot of group actor think. I don't know if everybody loves it, but oh, you love it? You don't hate it? You hate it too? You hate it? I hate it too. Yeah. So I hate it too. Yeah, I don't. And I'm I don't hate it. So.
Well, that's the language we speak, is telling stories.
Yes.
So if you do think of it like that, do you tell the story?
That's it.
That's very accessible.
Don't think about how many people are going to see it, how many people are going to like it. Literally just tell your story. And also when you're entering into Twitter or Instagram or Facebook game, when you're in there, just think about being a fly on the wall for a little bit, right? And just talking about, just what's going on for you. You know what I mean? Like I tweeted on my way here, I think it was. On my way here, I said, no matter what your political affiliation is, can we all agree that WebMD is the devil? Because I am always like WebMD, and I'm like, I'm
my
dying.
God.
Oh my God, there's a lump right here.
I know.
Like, and that is just the stuff that goes on in my head.
At 1 in the
right?
morning.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And it's not about like, and that's, I think if you really looked at that, that is how DaJuan is. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just great.
Yeah.
And I'm not worried about all that other stuff, you know? Like, who's going to like this? Who's not going to care? I'm just like,
yeah.
I'm pretty crazy. I think about WebMD too much.
I do too.
What would be the thing if somebody was coming here, because you coach students one-on-one mostly, is that, and you're also on a show, actors, sorry, yeah. What would be the thing that you would say to somebody coming new, like the kind of most important thing, or like first thing, or like biggest kind of piece of advice, or like your aunt says, go have lunch with this person and let them, like in that half hour, what's the kind of thing you'd want to impart?
One of the things, like, if I could say how to really like streamline this and cut corners, right? I think that's what everybody wants to talk to me about, or anybody. We want to talk to an actor, like, how do I get to, how do I get there, right? How do I get here? And of course you're listening to it, so you can't see me raising my hand up really high. My kids listen to a lot of podcasts, and so I know that we have to say, I'm raising my hand, so they know. But first of all, there is no magic bean. That's what I would say. There is no magic bean, and the overnight success really takes about like 15, 20 years, right? Like people think like, oh, it's an overnight success. They've been like really doing it for a bit, right? And I would say if I was sitting across from somebody, who's just getting here, that two things. One of the biggest things I can say about my career that I think got me to the next level was being accountable to somebody else besides myself, right? And what that also means, what that can look like a couple of ways, having a coach, but also surrounding yourself around the right people. If you are not around the right people, this will take longer. This will suck. Steve Harvey says, if 9 of your friends are broke, you'll be the 10th one. And so think about that in terms of acting. Like, do you know what I mean? And it just the vibration, the synergy, and it's not about always like finding that person to network up, but network sideways, because the people who are like coming up with you are going to be those people. So just help hold each other accountable. If you say you're going to shoot something, shoot it. If you're going to get a headshot, say you're going to do it. If you're going to go to that class, like have somebody like helping you be accountable in this. And so being accountable to somebody else besides myself, I would say get in that and surround yourself around great people.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.